This is Remix Report with your hosts, DJ JD and DJ J Spring.
Today's video brought to you by YourDJDrops.com, the nation's hottest DJ drops.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Remix Report. I'm DJ JD.
I'm DJ J Spring, and this is going to be a very short weekend recap. Not a lot happened this past weekend.
Just hurricanes, pretty much.
People stopped beefing on Twitter,
They
except for 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather. Did you hear about that?
They beefed?
Yeah, but everyone thinks it's fake. It probably is fake. They're the two who would probably do that.
Everything on the internet is fake.
I agree. People still get tricked by a lot of this stuff, though.
Yeah.
But that's another story.
That is. But today's story is our weekend and the news of the week. Why don't you start off by telling us your weekend?
Well, I guess we'll start Wednesday. I was at Scorpion Bar for the Halloween party. Ended up being a pretty decent turnout. I did play DJ Fabian's remix of Thriller. I think earlier a few times I played Scooters, like the week before Halloween when people were starting to play that kind of stuff. His was I think like more of a quick hitter, but I did try DJ Fabian's, which maybe was a little too much for Scorpion Bar, but I tried it anyway because I don't give a fuck. So then
there was a lot of Shrine people over there. I mean, I got to stop by for a little bit, and I think it would have gone over fine.
Then Thursday, I was at my college spot as usual. Friday, I was back at Shrine for Fuck It, It's Friday. I feel like I'm swearing all the time now. I don't know what's going on. That was a pretty fun night. Shout out to Jason Smith, who joined us. He was spinning on Saturday the next day, and I think his Friday gig got canceled. So he was in town, and he came on to spin Alesso. Years, which I think is his favorite song now. I said it's a dope song.
I'm a big fan of that track. Yep.
Have you seen the video for that?
I have not.
It's a pretty interesting video. It's like the highlights of his life almost.
Oh, sick.
It's a pretty good video.
I think I did hear about that. Like it shows him giving his mixtape to Alesso or something like that, and some other stuff.
Yeah. And then Saturday I was back at Scorpion. I forgot to mention on Friday, kind of a quick funny story. Some dude kind of grabbed my arm when I was in the middle of mixing. Like he reached over the rail where it says
don't do it.
It says don't ask for requests or anything. And he grabbed my arm. I'm like, dude, like I looked at him like, what the fuck? And he had his cell phone with a charger like to give to me. And I was like, I just looked at him like, no. Like, really?
No way. Not happening.
Like Shrine is not like, I can think of like some of the smaller bars I've done, like where it's almost like you're DJing there and it's almost like you're part of the crowd just because there's not that many people there and like people are coming up talking to you. Just Shrine isn't like that. Shrine's like a real nightclub. And like I can't imagine like if this guy would do it at Shrine, like where else would he do it if he was at like a David Guetta concert with like 100,000 people? Would he like crawl on stage and like give him? Are we gonna post that video with DJ Craze?
Yeah.
Would he have interrupted Craze in the middle of his routine to like give him his cell phone with his charger? Like, where would this guy draw the line? Is what I want to know.
Hey, just stop in the middle of that body trick real quick. I know you're like just halfway through the spin. Just plug this in really quick, and then you can finish that spin. And
so absolutely ridiculous. One thing, another thing from that night is the guy who's promoting, Ryan from Insight Events, told me I need to start dancing around more because he saw Jason Smith, who I don't know if Jason's always like this. Maybe you know, but because Jason was kind of going nuts. It might have been because he was drunk. I'll have to ask him.
That usually does add to things.
Because he said the crowd was reacting to that. So maybe I tried drinking. Do you remember this? I tried drinking like almost a year ago. I said I was going to start drinking. But I had to go to the bathroom pretty quick. And it just... So I think I might try shots.
Try a shot. I was just going to say that. Yeah. Try doing shots.
Okay.
You think that's going to get you in the mood? Get your hands up in the air a little bit?
Probably just make me tired, no.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen... You've always actually been against putting your hands up.
I'm not... No. That's incorrect. First of all, let me explain this real quick. I'm not against it. Okay. If that's what you do, just go crazy. Do that. I just don't have that inside me. Like nothing inside me says I want to put my hand above my head right now. Nothing.
Jay Spring is not normally a shit talker, but if you are a DJ and you're up there going like this all night,
No, incorrect. That's another.
he might say something about
No,
it.
that's incorrect. Also, I'll only talk shit about someone who's doing that when there's 5 people in the crowd. Shout out to John Cardona. He does that all the time at Shrine. There'll be like 10 people there, and he'll be going crazy.
All right, fair enough.
I will talk shit if you do the little heart. That's like kind of silly. I can't think of any other situation where guys would actually do that.
Not too many.
Did I ever tell? Speaking of people wanting me to have energy, did I ever tell the story about when they had the bow and arrow people? Did I tell that story on Remix?
I don't think so.
I was doing a private. I was doing a private event.
Oh, this was great. I was there for this. I saw this with my own eyes.
I was doing a private event, and they had this show. It was a husband and wife. I think it was a Vegas act, not a very good one apparently. And they the husband was gonna shoot like a arrow, just is that archery? Is that what he was doing?
Yes. Yeah.
Was there a better name for what the show was though?
That was just a bow and arrow, like shooting apples off people's heads kind of thing.
So he's gonna
like
shoot it off
targets
his
and
wife's
stuff.
head. So we're getting ready. You weren't there when I was setting up. And like the person who was like running the show, she was talking to me, and the person who was like in charge of the company was talking to me, and they wanted me to practice. I had to read this thing. Like we went through the whole show pretty much before it started. So they made sure I had the music to play for these people, and they wanted to hear me read it. So I was on the system. I hate talking on the mics just in general. I'm on the mic like with it turned up all the way. All the workers are just like, what is he doing? They're looking at me, and they had me read this ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous thing. It was like, ladies and gentlemen, if you could please direct your attention to the stage where where like the amazing Mr. and Mrs. Smith are gonna perform like a death-defying stunt. And so I read this really silly thing, and then the lady's like, all right, that was good. All right, now just do it with more energy. So I like looked at her. I was like, yeah, that was 100% right there.
Did you actually say that?
What else was I supposed to say? So they had me read it again. I tried. It was the same thing.
That's embarrassing.
What? Can you picture me? Like, what am I supposed to do?
Supposed to put on the DJ voice, man. You're a DJ.
No, I play music. That's what makes me a DJ. But anyway, I actually did a good job of it beforehand, and then I kind of choked when I actually had to read it. I stuttered a couple times, like when it was time. But how much I messed up, then compared to them, because the guy took like 5 tries to shoot the arrow. Did you watch the thing?
I saw it the first time. They were fine. I didn't see the second.
Yeah, there
one.
was the second thing where he was trying to shoot the apple off her head, and it took him like 5 tries. I had to keep rewinding the song. It was kind of ridiculous.
He like totally missed.
Yeah, it was just like kind of painful to watch.
That's kind of scary.
But no, at least he missed high. I guess that's pretty good.
I wish I would have seen that.
No, it wasn't. You really didn't miss anything.
I know, but just to watch the embarrassment would have been nice.
But anyway, the point of the whole story is that I don't know. Like, I see people having fun when they DJ. Not that I don't. I enjoy it, but I just don't have any need to jump up and down. I don't know why. I honestly, if I could have surgery right now, that would make it so I was like jumping off the stage and just getting on top of the stage and screaming and waving my hands in the air. I would do it.
The Aoki surgery.
The Aoki surgery, yes.
We're going to talk about that in a little bit.
I would sign up for that.
Let's see. My weekend, I was at Shrine on Wednesday for Halloween. Thursday, I was actually off. And Friday, Saturday, I had weddings. Some of my last weddings of the season. I have, I think, 2 left this year.
By the way, Shrine's big Halloween thing on Tuesday. Dante the Don came down, so shout out to Dante. Hopefully we'll have him on real soon.
Absolutely, that was dope. Yep. Yeah, so wedding season is pretty much over, so I know a lot of you guys who are watching are probably experiencing the same thing. Probably have, hopefully, a slower winter to relax after a crazy summer. let's see, the weddings is this weekend. I mean, they were both really fun weddings. I did uplighting under a tent at the one on Saturday, which I posted a video up on my Facebook if you want to check that out. Wrote a whole bunch of new light cues for that, and it looked really dope. Definitely liking the uplighting. Adds a nice touch to everything. Yeah, that was pretty much my weekend.
No crazy wedding stories this time?
Not really. They were pretty standard. Went pretty smooth. Nothing weird or unusual to really talk about.
It's too bad.
I did break one of my speakers, though. I should say that. I have the QSC K12s and the KW181 subs that go with them, and kind of the way you roll them into a venue. The subs have wheels on one side, so you have the wheels down, and I put one of the top speakers on top of the sub and roll them in. And the edge of the dance floor at the venue on Friday night, there's a rug, and then there's a lip to the dance floor, and the dance floor is tile. And from where I was, it wasn't like very bright in the room when I was loading in, and it didn't look like the lip was very high, but the lip onto the dance floor was a little higher. Caught the edge of the sub, speaker goes flying off the sub onto the dance floor. Speaker wouldn't turn on after that, and I'm pretty sure the magnet came off the back of the speaker because there's something rattling around in there. So I brought it in today to get repaired. Hopefully that won't cost too much.
Any damage to the dance floor?
No, the tile was perfectly hard and stayed put pretty well.
That's good, I guess.
Dance floor did its job. Nice speaker. Well,
how much is that speaker worth?
Brand new. They're what, like $900, I think. I don't know. It should still be under warranty. I'm not sure if warranty will cover this, but maybe it will. QSC's got a good warranty, so
you can keep us updated on that.
Yeah. So that was my weekend.
Now on to some news. You said you were going to mention something about Aoki. I think I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, Aoki did not have the greatest of weeks. First, he had a failed stage dive, so this whole jumping around nonsense that you're talking about.
Maybe it's not a good idea.
He's been, well, maybe not, but he's been pretty lucky up to this point. I mean, stage diving probably once or twice a week for the last couple of years, and never me hearing of any serious injuries. But he was doing a show in Puerto Rico, jumped off the stage onto a trampoline, which is probably the worst idea. The trampoline, he hit the trampoline just fine, but then the trampoline bounced him in the wrong direction and made him fly off into the crowd, and actually kind of, I think he hit the side of the stage or something. So needless to say, had to go to the hospital, had a CAT scan, and I think everything ended up being fine, but definitely, I'm sure, a scary experience. But then he had a show later in the week in Spain, and unfortunately there was some kind of stampede or something. People were trying to get to the exit, and some people were trampled, and I think actually 3 people were killed and 2 other people injured. So Aoki ended up canceling his show the next day to kind of, I don't know, give some time and space to the whole event. But yeah, definitely not a great week for Steve Aoki. Hopefully everything is better for him this week after Halloween.
I think I saw the
fiasco.
picture of him lying in a stretcher. Someone posted it with he had like a neck brace on. So
yeah. Maybe he'll think twice on where he jumps from now on. A couple of videos released this week. DJ Craze released a demo video for the Tractor Z2 mixer. It's pretty sick. Doing a lot of crazy stuff with cue points and different scratch routines. So
it's interesting to see a turntablist adapting to this new technology now and doing kind of some of the stuff that like Four Colors Act did during the Red Bull 3 style with using the cue points to kind of play something.
Yeah, very cool. Kind of using it, more like a sampler. and stuff. Pretty cool. And then Serato released a video going over all the features of the new Serato DJ software that is just being released. So you can check both of those out. Little hurricane news. So you were out of power for how long? 5 days?
5 days, and the worst part about that is that you kind of got my hopes up high, and
I thought that your power was only going to be.
Because I told you, what did I say? I'm like,
you said a week.
I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to be without power for like a week or so, and you're like, no, what are you talking about? You'll get it back the next day. So, I know. I mean, when you think about this, it has nothing to do with dead mouse or any of the other arguments that we've ever had, but just to give you some context on the people arguing those arguments, he thought it was going to be 1 day, and I said it was going to be like a week or so. So again, doesn't decide those past arguments, but just some context on the people who are involved in the arguments and how close they are to reality.
If this was The Price is Right, I would still be the winner because you overbid.
No, but these are real life arguments, so it's just about who's closer, who's more realistic. Just to give our viewers an idea.
Well, I tried to give you a little hope in the whole scenario, and
And then it was crushed. My dreams just crushed.
Ripped right out. I know. Some other people's dreams who were ripped out by Hurricane Sandy. DJ Scribble had his studio in his house pretty much destroyed from the looks of his Instagram. The crazy thing about this is I'd seen some pictures in the last couple months he'd posted of his studio. I think he had just kind of got it up and running. And then in preparation for the hurricane, he actually dismantled the entire studio, made sure everything was up off the floor, at least the height of his workstation, which is probably, 2.5 feet, probably 30 inches off the floor. And so, he did what any normal person would do to prepare. I mean, I'm not even sure. Most people probably didn't even prepare that much, especially if they had a studio like that they didn't want to spend all that time dismantling. But he did, had everything prepared, and then the water ends up flooding his whole basement and going up quite a bit higher than that 30 inches that everything was off the floor. It went up more, probably
the height of a person.
Probably about 5 feet at least, judging by the pictures and the watermarks on the wall. I mean, definitely 1.5 feet taller than a light switch on the wall.
I mean, losing the studio sucks. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully he can lose like files and stuff. Hopefully he had stuff backed up. But I mean, as far as speakers and computers for the most part go, I mean, that's all replaceable. And I'm sure he had insurance, but the records,
it had at least a good portion of his record collection down there, and a lot of that is definitely, and obviously the vinyl itself can probably be salvaged, but I mean all the covers and the labels on the records themselves,
that's too bad,
horrible. And I mean, I'm sure everything's probably getting moldy at this point, and that's just such a mess. So
a lot of people were definitely affected, especially in our area. Just the shoreline just got destroyed, and the beach club that I DJ at.
Patty's definitely
destroyed.
Got totally destroyed. All the bars along the beach there. So our thoughts definitely go out to everybody down there, and all the DJs who were affected, of course, and everybody who was affected, of course. But yeah, definitely these crazy natural disasters. You never can really predict what's going to happen.
It's global warming, I think. It's 2 years in a row.
That's what some people say.
I don't know. We do have one thing, moving on, we do have one thing for discussion today, and that's something we discussed last year. I believe I remember discussing it at your house. Do you remember that?
I don't remember the exact discussion right off.
When we had our studio in Nikki's makeup room.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about, it was pretty much about Thriller, and if DJs should be playing the original or the remix. I believe we made it a topic of the week back then.
Now it's coming back to me.
Yeah. You remember. You definitely remember. But my friend Brett Burns on Facebook made a post Let me actually get what he said here. I believe I have it on my laptop. I just gotta open this up. And I know DJ DeVille definitely had a good comment on this post.
Yeah, he did.
I actually definitely disagree with what Brett said, but what Brett did say is something that I think there are a lot of people who feel that way as well. So, again, not making fun of him for saying this. He's definitely not a small minority who think this. So he said, "Why the fuck are you guys making Ghostbusters and Thriller remixes? What kind of DJ can't rock the fucking originals?" Since we're a remix report, we can just speak freely like that.
You have been swearing a lot today.
I know. Well, that wasn't on me.
Now we're gonna have to put the explicit tag on.
I was just quoting.
That makes it all better.
So,
I wonder if that'll hold up in court.
But there's a lot of people who feel this way.
Yeah, we've been hearing this for years. Yeah, why can't? Especially, this always does come up, especially for Thriller around Halloween. People really get uptight about people remixing Thriller.
And I'm not one of those people. For those of you who are joining us last year, I was definitely in favor of remixing it and remixing anything you want. In fact, I think I answered the question before DeVille did, and my response was just, why do people play remixes of any song? I assume those playing a remix of Thriller are doing it for the same reason. Smiley face.
That's very passive-aggressive of you.
Yeah, smiley face kind of takes it away. So then DeVille chimed in. I just really like what DeVille said, so I'm going to read it. "The great part about being an experienced DJ is you know what works best at your shows. I don't get this pride factor about needing to play the original because I'm so original gangster."
In quotes.
"If you need to play the original to get a response, that's great. But there's no need to trash talk about people who try to push boundaries and try something new with acapellas and samples."
Well said. Very well said.
I agree with what DeVille said. Obviously, because I'm one of the people in favor of playing remixes of Thriller.
And I personally don't really have a preference either way. I think it really depends on where you're playing, the crowd you're playing for. As far as Thriller remixes go, I mean, I've heard a lot of good ones. The Cheap Thrills one has always been one of my favorites, and Fabian has always done really good remixes. And
Scooter did a good one this year. I think Discotheque have a
I like hearing those remixes because it is a song that we've played so much. We know it very well. It's fun to hear a new take on something familiar.
Plus, I think you agreed with me that last year that it didn't seem like the original was getting. No, I don't know if it's the original, but just the song in general didn't seem like it was getting the same response as it had in the past.
Last year, I think this year it seemed to get a fine response to me. But obviously, if you're playing for an older crowd, if you're playing it at a wedding, let's say, I did play it at a wedding this past weekend, and I did play pretty much the original. I played, I think, a transition that me and Darrell did a couple of years back that goes into the original, and it works well. I mean, perfectly for like an all-age crowd. But if you're playing for a younger crowd, I mean, what's the need to necessarily play just the original? Why not play something that has some new flavor to it to spice it up?
But I mean, why can't Thriller be remixed? Why? That's what I was asking a year ago. Is why can't it be remixed? Why can we remix every other song except for Thriller?
And I do kind of see. I see where people are coming from with songs that they grew up with and know and love, and like the original has like a really special meaning to them, just like with anything that has a really special meaning to you. But just because someone remixes it doesn't mean the original is not still there for you to listen to and have that relationship with.
But you have to understand, though, that any arguments you can make against playing a remix of Thriller, for instance, if someone said, that just sounds ridiculous, like a dubstep remix of Thriller, that crowd doesn't like dubstep, so why are you doing that? It's any argument you can make is pretty much the same argument you would make against playing that type of remix for any other song. I mean, if your crowd isn't ready for that kind of music, then you shouldn't be doing that as a DJ in general.
True.
If your crowd only knows the original, then if they wouldn't react good to a remix, I mean, you can say that with any song. Then if you feel like you're DJing for a crowd that wouldn't like remixes, so I treat Thriller just like I would treat any other song, knowing it's obviously one of the most popular songs in pop, and I understand that, but I treat it as a very popular pop song. Is how I treat Thriller.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Good.
I think DeVille kind of hit the nail on the head.
Do you remember last year when I compared it to Dynamite? Do you remember Joey C getting very angry with me?
Yeah, that was kind of ridiculous, but
Shout out to Joey C.
Absolutely. All right, well, I think that wraps up our Sandy post-Halloween recap.
It was kind of an eventful week this week. Not a lot of events really to talk about, but just with the hurricane and Halloween at the same time, it was kind of interesting week.
Definitely a lot going on in general, but
I'm just glad to have my power back, so I don't have to just eat beef jerky and protein bars. I can switch up my diet a little bit.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Sounds delicious.
You know what's weird, by the way? We're shooting this. What is this? This is a Monday, the 5th.
Yep.
Or is it 6th today?
It's the 5th.
There's people trick-or-treating outside. Did you notice that when you drove here?
No.
Yeah, they're trick-or-treating outside.
Are they really?
Yeah, I think they moved Halloween in my town to today.
Well, hey, that makes sense, I guess. I mean,
Interesting.
yeah, it does make sense, considering. Good for
So,
them.
on that note, this has been another installment of your weekend recap from Remix Report. I'm Jay Spring.
I'm DJ JD. Let us know what you think down there in the comments.
Or you can always email us, remixreport@gmail.com.
Remixreport.com.